Before we get this started, I'm just I gotta go ahead and hit that real quick. But with that being said, hi y'all. Welcome to Just a Motherfucking Podcast. It's your girl, Lee. And I just want to go ahead and say, first of all, let's clear the air. I know my voice sounds like this and I know I'm whispering, but that's because I am sick as fuck. I am sick as the fuck. I don't feel good. What I just drank definitely is not going to help. It's going to help me mentally and emotionally feel better, but it's not going to help me feel better with my sickness, honestly. But we live in careless. We live in free. And guess what? As you can see by the background, we're living on our own. Yeah. I'm finally living by myself. And with that being said, I like it. This shit is hard. This shit is hard as fuck. Like, just living by myself, I wasn't really like, I hopped on it as soon as I could. Like, I hopped on an opportunity to do that as soon as I could. And I wasn't thinking about the logistics, baby. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I had to budget. I was not thinking about the fact that I was thinking about the fact that I had to pay bills, but I wasn't thinking about the fact that I was going to have to buy shit such as groceries, also pay for utilities, also pay for things for the apartment. And that is exactly why, as you can see, my apartment looks empty as the fuck. As you will see, as time progresses, you're going to start seeing more shit in my background. But, we had to start off small. We had to start off with buying only what I, could buy, which that's fine. I don't know who the fuck put it in the air that you had to have everything together. But my thing is, you don't have to really have shit together. Yes, you do need a plan. And yes, you do need the platform. But yes, you do need a plan, but you don't need to have every single step of the way. Because what I've learned is being a perfectionist about everything is the best forms of procrastination. And I really had to learn it. I heard somebody on TikTok basically just be like, perfectionists use the excuse, and I'm not saying that anybody being a perfectionist is an excuse, because as a perfectionist myself, I know that most of the times it's not me wanting to push the time back, it's me wanting to make sure everything is perfect. But here's the thing, do you want everything to be perfect, or do you want everything to come? Because here's another thing, waiting for perfection can be that one thing that makes you miss your timing and miss your mark. And I've learned that. I've had definite moments in my life where I've missed my time and missed my mark, missed my motion, because I wanted to be a perfectionist. Am I still dealing with it now? Maybe. Am I getting better? Yes. A little. As you can see, I haven't posted in a month or two. And that was just because, as you can see, I was getting shit together. I had to figure out life. I had to figure out the shit that I wanted to do. Because my thing is, in order to make better content for y'all, I have to evolve for me. I have to live life. I have to explore. And honestly, with me staying in my house and staying with my family, I love them. But that wasn't the most healthiest thing for me. That wasn't the most healthiest living style for me, especially from coming from somebody who, because I have moved by myself, especially coming from somebody who was living by themselves with no rules, regulations, or nothing, had to go back into the family house with rules and regulations of what I can and can't do. I don't know about y'all, but that was a quick switch up for me, and that was not a good one. Yes, it helped me evolve and show my family who I really am, but it also kind of reverted me back into that coddling stage where I felt I'm not going to say I was in a strict household, but where I felt like I couldn't really do what I wanted to do, be who I wanted to be, wear what I wanted to wear. Like, all the learning that I did in the time frame that I lived by myself, it all left. And then because I made this fast decision to move out. That's what I'm kind of struggling with right now. I'm kind of struggling with the fact that, I wake up and when I walk out that door, my family's not judging what I wear. They're not judging how I go out, how I present myself and stuff like that. So that's kind of just a little bit of what I'm going through like right now. Also with me going through that, just moving out by myself was really, because it was really sudden, I didn't get to prepare for it mentally. And I think that you definitely have to prepare for that mentally and really have to get yourself ready for the stuff to come. Because you don't really know in your head what's going to happen, or you don't really get yourself set up for the things that's going to happen. Like for instance, I was kind of used to being, how do I explain it? I was kind of used to really having like that guidance. That's what it was. I was really used to having that guidance. So when I kind of woke up on a random day, on a random freaking Tuesday at that, didn't have no guidance, didn't have no rules, pay my own bills, lived under my own roof, it was kind of weird to me. Like, it kind of threw me off because I was like, my head, like, from now, I'm just getting into that headspace where I'm like, damn, it's 2 a.m. I can really go out and do what I want. I don't have to come home at this certain time. If I know that I got work in the morning, that's my responsibility now. That's not nobody else's responsibility to wake me up. That's nobody else's responsibility to tell me, oh, I don't think that you should do this, or I don't think that you should do that. My free will is my free will right now. And that's kind of what I'm getting into. But it's just like a weird change. Honestly, it's just a weird change, especially coming, like I said again, especially coming from a household that's kind of on the stricter side, where they told you what they didn't deem appropriate, what they didn't deem was good to happen. It makes it a lot harder to make your own decisions when you move out. And that's why I think that you should prepare mentally. Like, the first time I moved out, I definitely prepared mentally. And also because I kind of cut ties with my family members, I didn't have to really think about, oh, fuck, I'm finally living by myself, like, finally on my own. No, because I was already in the perception I was by myself. I was already in the possession I was living on my own. I just wasn't at the time. And mind you, I wasn't really living with my family like that. So it was kind of like, what the fuck do their like opinions mean to me? But now, especially because I'm closer to my family members, my mom included, I'm a lot closer to family members that I wasn't before. So instead of me leaving the first time and being like, oh, I'm ready for this life, I'm ready for yada yada, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for that. No, I was pretty scared my first week of moving. And it was so weird because I expected to have that feeling when I first moved out. A lot of stuff that I thought I was going to feel when I first moved out, I ended up feeling now, which kind of threw me off. But I also understand that I didn't have the best relationship with my family when I first moved out. So I didn't have to think about, oh, how would they feel? How would I feel? What's going to happen? Yada, yada, yada. Because it felt like I was on my own. But now that I've kind of had them as a crutch, I didn't feel on my own no more. And now that I was on my own, it kind of felt like, whoo, I'm actually by myself now. And that's a great thing, but it's a scary thing. And I'm taking it in lightly. It definitely has hit to me that I am struggling. Not even on a financial standpoint, which we will get to that soon, but not even on a financial standpoint that I am struggling. I'm just struggling with kind of being by myself again. Because it's like everything that I kind of needed, my family had. Like, if I was hungry and I ain't had no money, they had groceries. I can ask them to give me something to eat. But now, if I'm struggling, I'm hungry, and I ain't got no goddamn money, then I just am struggling, hungry, and ain't got no goddamn money. Because yes, they can help me from afar, but they got their own lives and their own people, and that's not really my place anymore as someone who's not a resident of their home. And so that's kind of something that I'm kind of struggling with. I'm also struggling with the fact that there was a tragedy that happened to me. I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but there was a tragedy that happened to me that caused me to move out my first apartment. So it does kind of feel weird to live on my own. I do kind of have triggers sometimes. Most of the triggers deal with me hearing sudden noises, or like hearing sudden noises in my bedroom. I do tend to, even though I know nobody's gonna come in at night, I do tend to have my bedroom locked because I do have roommates, and they're really cool roommates. They're really nice, they're really sweet, and I know that they wouldn't like do that to me, but it's just I hear a sudden noise and it's kind of like my mind reverts back to the placement that I was in when that tragedy happened. So it's just that really just the fear of being like by myself and something happening, because that was due to that tragedy. That is something that scares me. So like sometimes, and we are gonna get a little personal, sometimes when I take a shower and I hear a sudden noise, kind of freeze. I'll be laying in bed on FaceTime with my friends or my significant other. I hear a sudden noise and I freeze. Like my first week, Lord, I thought I heard somebody like banging to get in my room, and I was terrified. Luckily, I was on the phone with my friend, but I was terrified as hell. And this shit happened at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Turns out one of my roommates was just coming in from like her friend's house. But it does seem to happen, like dealing with my traumas and dealing with stuff that happened. I like to face it. Well, I kind of had an issue with not facing it head on at first, but now I have no issue with facing it head on. There's no problem with facing it head on. There's really, with me moving out, I kind of put myself in a situation where I have to face it by myself, and had to face it face on. Like, I'm now at the point where like I'm kind of forced to be isolated. And I know I was talking about isolation, like isolation from your own doing in the last episode, but I don't think I really touched on isolation when you don't really have the position to be isolated. Like, everybody talks about isolation when they have the control of it, but nobody really talks about the forced isolation that you have to go through. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now with the forced isolation, because yes, I have friends, but like I said, we're all enduring in each other in our own lives. Yes, we all hang out, but I can't just, we're adults now. I can't just be like, hey, fuck work, come see me. Or the same thing with my family. With my family, my mom specifically, because I don't really talk to my other family members like that. But with my mom specifically, I can't really be like, Mom, I want to talk to you at this time because she's at work, or she just got home from work. She's dealing with stuff on her own. So it's kind of like I'm in a position to deal with my own stuff, but it's different because I'm not dealing with it for my own will. I'm not isolating myself because I can. I'm isolating myself because I have to. And that's one thing that I'm kind of forced to dealing with, but I feel like I'm dealing with it very well. One thing I can say with like living by myself is that I am happier. There is like, of course, the isolation, the being by myself, the traumas, but I can work with that. I feel like you do have to compromise when you like choose yourself, and I did have to compromise a couple of things regarding myself, but the more that I look into why I did what I did, I have no issue with the compromises that it comes with it. The bills, the worrying, the nervousness, the being by myself 24/7, doing everything on my own. I have no issue with that at all, because it's for the greater good of what I'm doing for myself. You feel me? For the greater good of what I'm doing for myself, and for the greater good of what I know where I'm trying to be at. I know what I'm trying to do in my life. You feel me? So with that being said, honestly, just moving in by myself was really a great thing. Like I said, I could have been more prepared. You feel me? I could have been more prepared with what I was going to do. And with that being said, another way that I could have been more prepared was by fucking budgeting, bruh. No, I feel like a lot of people tell you about budgeting, but nobody tells you how hard budgeting is if you have not done it. And especially if you're not good with your money. And one thing about me is the issue is never that I'm without money. The issue is that whenever I get it, I spend it on miscellaneous shit, such as food or materialistic things. And not even talking shoes. It's mostly just food and like little bitty trinkets that I like to buy. Like a lot of useless shit. Like it don't even be like clothes or shoes or anything like that. It could be a damn bracelet that I found and will lose a week later. Like it's just a little miscellaneous shit that I like. But I have been budgeting, which I'm very proud of myself for that. I'm very proud of myself for budgeting, especially at the age that I am at, because not a lot of people budget. Like, well, I won't say not a lot of people budget. I'm just saying not a lot of people speak that much of budgeting. They usually just speak of, oh, if you don't have enough money, just make that much money. Here's the thing. We are in the age of a goddamn, what is it called? We are in the age of inflation, baby. Groceries is costing more than $100 for one person. And you know how I know? Because I just started going grocery shopping for myself. And that shit is rough. Grocery shopping. Grocery shopping in itself. Buying stuff that you need. Toiletries and all of that. Paying for rent. Rent is beating that ass. And not only is rent beating that ass, we are not getting paid the amount that we should be getting paid for how much everything costs. So I feel like if you don't budget, if you got enough money where you don't need to budget, that's totally cool. But in the days of inflation, in the days that we are here now, I definitely feel like we need to start budgeting. And that's what I started to do. So I'm not going to show y'all because it's under this like big ass stack of books. But I grabbed my own budgeting book, made my own budgeting book. The first week that I was living here, I went ahead and planned my budget for both of the jobs that I have, because I do have 2 jobs. That's the life of inflation. But I definitely do have 2 jobs. So I just grabbed my budgeting book and just started budgeting. And what I like to do and what I like advise y'all to do is round everything up. So like for instance, if your rent is, I was going to say $650. We're going to use $650 as an example, even though I doubt that's how much apartments cost now. Because I ain't seen an apartment that cost $650 since my last apartment 2 fucking years ago. But let's say that an apartment costs $650. You feel me? What I like to do is, instead of $650, I like to go ahead and go up to $700, just to make sure that I save that certain amount of money. Because the worst thing that can happen is you don't have enough money. But when you save up enough, the worst thing that can happen is you have too much money. If we're being honest, the worst thing that can happen is that you have too much money. You don't know what to do with it. And if you don't know what to do with it, put it in your savings for the next amount of rent. It won't hurt. That extra 50 won't fucking hurt. It really won't. So what I usually do is put my budget up to like bills, rent, bills, phone bill, car savings, regular savings, and then spending. And groceries. Groceries is one of the highest one. So what, and I know I might be missing some things, but some of the things go into the thing. You feel me? Like for instance, my toiletries go into groceries. But for instance, so like, not to give y'all too much input of how much like my shit costs or whatever, but like say for instance, my rent costs $850. I'm putting $900 up. If my phone bill costs $250, I'm putting $300 up. You feel me? If my groceries cost $50, I'm putting $100 up. You feel me? I'm doing stuff like that. And then another thing is, because I tend to make more than I thought I was with my 2 jobs, I ended up having more in my spending. Key thing. If you have more in your goddamn spending, do not spend all that shit. Divide it up to where you still have a reasonable amount of spending. But you put a little more in your savings, you put a little more in your car. Or if you already have a car, put a little more in your savings and put a little bit more on. Fuck it. Start a car account. Because one thing that you don't want to do is only have $10 for gas and then your goddamn check light engine going. I would rather be safe. Rather be safe than sorry than on the road. You feel me? But hey, but yeah, I feel like budgeting definitely really helps with something that you need to do. Something that really I just think budgeting helps your life go a little bit smoother. I just feel like it helps you look at how much you have and actually visualize it, because also I'm a visual person, so I think it helps you visualize everything that you have and really pick apart what you need to do in order to afford things. Because I do have a tend to kind of use up my bank account until that whole decline, and that is not the way. That is not I'm gonna tell you now, that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it at all. But back to me moving by myself, another thing that I've kind of struggled with is the fact that I'm a fucking adult now. And I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds weird because I talk about me being an adult and being an adult mindset a lot. But I was just talking to a couple of coworkers about this, where it's like, I don't feel like I really need to be. I don't feel like I really am where I need to be. You feel me? I feel like a child in an adult's body. And I just feel like I'm not ready for everything that's happening. I feel like life is going way too fast. Life is moving way too fast for me. I don't know. I tend to have that youthful type of personality. I tend to have that youthful, playful personality, not that much seriousness. I could be serious when I want to, but I've seen that with me doing that, I don't get taken as seriously. Which is also why I wanted to make a platform like this, because even though I'm a little silly and a little goofy and stuff like that, I can still articulate my words and I'm still a smart person. But I feel like with me being more on the playful and childlike demeanor, it kind of makes people think ditzy, delusional, stupid, or uneducated. Not even uneducated, but uneducated in the sense where I don't see naive. People deem the same that I'm naive. People deem the same that I'm childish. And it's not that, but I do struggle with that right now, because I kind of see, especially in the workplaces that I'm at, I kind of see myself being kind of the youthful one, the younger one, and the joyful one, and the smiley one. And it's hard. It's kind of hard with one, not letting, especially if you're in a workplace that kind of gives you a negative feel. It's kind of hard to not let that go to you, not let that really mess with you. But not only not let that mess with you, but just being okay with the fact that not everybody thinks like you and not everybody acts like you. And it was one thing that I really ended up kind of looking at myself in the mirror and being like, wow, do people look at me weird for that? Do I seem weird? Do I seem odd? Do I seem off? Do I seem childish? It had me second guessing a lot of things. And then I had to sit back and realize, no, your personality is just bubbly and it's just okay and it's just fun. And it made me realize I don't have to grow up to be that serious ass adult. I can be fun for the rest of my fucking lives, for the rest of my life, as long as I do what I want to do when I do it, and I do everything in a well manner and with thought. I can do it any way that I want to, but it doesn't change the fact that it feels weird, and it makes me kind of feel like the outsider with that, because I definitely do feel like the child in an adult body. I feel like that one kid. And if you understand You understand? You feel me? But I feel like that one kid, when all the adults are at the cookout, it's that one kid that's always at the adult table. You feel me? And it just makes me feel weird because I heard them talking about their lives and stuff like that. And they talk about kids, they talk about futures, they talk about this. And I'm not even young enough to know. I know what I want to do, but I just don't know how to get there. So it makes me feel weird. It kind of makes me feel like I'm unprepared. Kind of makes me feel like they know something that I don't, which of course they're older, but it still makes me feel like a child. Makes me feel like a kid. Makes me feel unexperienced. Makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And it definitely makes me not really appreciate how far I've came for how young I am. Because a lot of people want to dish off the fact of how young I am, but nobody really wants to congratulate. Which meaning I don't need a congratulations, but it's still, most people kind of point out oh, you're so young, or you're so unexperienced, or you're so this. But no one ever be like, oh, you're young, but you still have the maturity to sit at our table. You still put yourself in a position where you can sit at our table and understand what we're talking about and understand what we're flushing out with our ideologies. And you're this young. Nobody really talks about that, you feel me? But yeah, that definitely has been a struggle with me living by myself. Another struggle that I have found to live by myself, especially with having 2 jobs, is definitely finding a free time for myself. One thing I should definitely say is take some free time for yourself, even if it's involuntary. Because one thing I can say is, if you don't take that free time out for yourself, your body's gonna make you take that free time. Baby, after I moved out, I was doing nothing but working my 2 jobs and going to bed. My ass woke the hell up sick. And now I was forced to stay home. Just slow down before your body makes you. That's the thing. It's the stress. The stress also doesn't help, especially with, if I assume that you all are the age that I am, the stress doesn't really help with the stuff that you're going through. My nigga, the world is burning. You don't have time to be worried about a fucking job. The life can really fuck with you, you feel me? Like, life could really stress you out. That's one thing that I could say. So just go ahead and find that free time for yourself. But yeah, with what I was saying, but with that being said, what I was saying was about finding my free time was, I still have to like find the free time in what I want to do. I still have to find the free time with like hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my family and everything. Because I have found out that living by myself also what happened to make the amount of money that I make, and me having those 2 jobs, I can't really afford to kind of miss work. I can't really afford to like free time up. You feel me? So it's just, I have to figure out like on my off days. And also I have an issue with like on my off days, I tend to just like stay at home and not do anything. But that's also why I'm starting to get into new things. And I know I talk about getting into new things, but that is such a big point in this podcast. It's like, experience life. Just experience new things that you want to do, because one day you're going to be old as hell and you're going to regret not doing that thing. You're going to regret not going on that trip, not moving to that place. Fucking do it. Just do it, nigga. What's the worst they could do? The world is burning. What is the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you fail and you come back home. But with that being said, yeah, I just got to go ahead and like start finding my free time, because I need to start listening to my own advice when I tell y'all to actually do stuff. When I tell y'all to get out and get to moving and get to doing stuff. And I don't really I don't really follow my advice with that, even though sometimes I go out and go for a walk, go out and get something to eat, I go out and shop, I go out and do certain stuff. I haven't really, and I kind of think I'm waiting for the winter, for the summertime as well, because there is a festival that's coming in, even though that hoe is expensive, I'm going. But with that being said, even though I'm waiting for that time to really live my life, I need to start living my life now. And living my life does not mean that I can't still do the things that I like to do. Living my life just means new experiences for me. It just means new things for me. And I just feel like everybody needs to get some free time. Everybody needs some free time, because this adulting shit is ass. This adulting shit is garbage. I know a lot of people used to say, when you wish to be older, be careful what you goddamn wish for. Whoever made that saying up really ate that the fuck up. Because here's the thing, I didn't necessarily want to be, when I moved out my first time, I didn't necessarily want to be an adult. I didn't want to grow up fast. I was kind of put in a position to do so. It was either I'm in a fucked up position or I grow up fast, and I chose to grow up fast. But it's like it's hitting me now. It's actually hitting me now, and it's actually kind of got me looking in the mirror, looking at myself like, shit, this shit is ass. I find myself waking up every day and saying, wow, I fucking hate being an adult. This shit is garbage. I don't know. It's something about right when you hit that age where you're allowed to pay bills. And it's also the fact that, like, so I'm Gen Z, 2023, you feel me? I'm a 2023 baby, you feel me? I just feel like everything went up when we became the adults, and I feel like that shit's not fair. Everything came up when we decided to be the adults. Boom, we turned 18. Right when we turned 18, that goddamn tobacco law and shit went up to 21. I was like, okay, you got me there, that's fine. And then it's time for us to buy cars. Cars cost a lot of fucking money now. So we're like, okay, we can be without stuff. We can be without a car. We can be without a car. Now it's time for us to look for apartments. Got niggas out here talking about a $1,800 deposit with a $1,800 rent. You need your first and last rent. You need to make up to 3 times the rent, first and last rent. No pets, no parking, no utilities. Who the fuck is paying for that? And that shit is for 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Adulting is really ass. Like, adulting is really garbage. And I know that a lot of people, when they hear me like say like, oh, adulting is ass, and they're like, oh, you just got into adulting. No, baby, adulting is ass. I've been an adult for 2 years, and technically my thing is, I wasn't necessarily an adult. I wasn't necessarily an adult. I was just a nigga that was able to pay rent, and the shit was ass. So I'm about to hit my 21st mark, meaning I'm about to be a 1-year-old in adult years. And all y'all keep telling me this shit's gonna get worse. What the fuck do you mean it's gonna get worse? What is going to happen? Cause it's already gotten bad. We can't, what did he say? We have to pay for grapes. We have to pay for water. I'm not gonna say all, most of us are working at a job that, 1, do not make us feel fulfilled. 2, don't even pay the bills. But guess what? We can't necessarily find another job, because guess what? All these jobs that say they are hiring, they're not really fucking hiring. They're just saying they are. Coming from the Indeed veteran herself. One thing about me is, when I saw inflation go up and the way these jobs is working they shit, I had to stop being a job hopper. Yes, I was a certified job hopper, but I had to stop. One, also, I found a job that I really, really like that also pays really, really well. But before that, I had to stop being a job hopper because I was like, wow, the fact that it took me 3 months to find a job last time. That shit is ass, and that's without a degree. Niggas with degrees ain't even getting jobs that they're well more than qualified for, because of the fact that we're living in a time where everybody's looking for a fucking job because nobody's getting paid correctly, nobody's getting treated correctly. First of all, let's go ahead and go, and yes, I am about to go on this tangent, but let's go ahead and talk about the goddamn boomers who keep talking about some, oh, Gen Z and millennials are they're just ungrateful. They just don't want to work. Nigga, back when you was working a house, not even a house, an apartment, was $100 a month. Utilities included, your car. I'm not even gonna say individual prices. Let's just say with you working a minimum wage job at fucking McDonald's, you can support you, your wife, your 2 kids with a mortgage that you're actively paying for, with a full functioning car, and you can have enough for your wife to stay home. I can't even make enough money for me to stay home for a sick day, let alone rent. And here's another thing that I don't understand. Y'all boomers want to always talk about a nigga being lazy and a nigga not wanting to do nothing. We don't even get the benefits that y'all get, my nigga. Y'all got jobs that had a healthcare, dental, what was it 401k, all of that, pay, PTO, vacation time. Let's just say I have 2 jobs right now and I have no health insurance. So what the fuck does that tell you? They're just so quick to blame other people instead of blaming the people that's not paying us correctly. They're blaming the niggas there is no reason at all why the price of everything has gone up, but the price of pay had stayed the same since the early 2000s. Ain't no fucking way that is fair. And I'm sick of people keep talking about how we're ungrateful, how we don't want to work, how we just want to, y'all just want to do whatever, not work, not care about a job. Also, let's get on the fact that y'all always want to talk about we don't care about a job and we're quick to quit a job. Yes, we don't care about a job, they don't care about us. And 2, we're quick to quit a job because of the fact that not only are y'all not paying us correctly, y'all not treating us correctly and expect us to fucking stay there. And also, it's way harder to climb that fucking totem pole, because how it used to be back then was you went from entry level to a shift lead to a manager or assistant manager to manager to, I want to say it was like right before the VP, exec VP, and then up to an exec. You used to build a totem pole. You know how many people I know that had more than 5 jobs and has never went above that entry level with a degree? And then what makes it worse is y'all will see us fighting, which is also why we don't give a fuck no more. And let me sit up for this. Y'all will see us fighting for this totem pole to become manager or shift lead. And instead of giving us that raise, y'all will go off and pay somebody for the least experience just because y'all could pay them less. Just because y'all could pay them 14 and I'm getting paid 15 right now as an entry. That's not fucking fair. So if you want to ask why the fuck we don't care no more, ask, instead of asking the people that's abused, instead of asking the fucking victims of this fucking society and this fucking system, how about ask the niggas that made it? Ask the niggas that made it why the fuck our pay hasn't went up in 25 cents in 10 years. Oh, okay. I didn't fucking think so. But in conclusion, because I apologize, I did get on my soapbox real quick. But in conclusion, yes, I don't even know what I was about to say. But in conclusion, yes, I'm sick as fuck. Yes, I moved in by myself. Yes, go ahead and budget. Definitely, that shit will definitely make you feel better. If you feel like you're an adult, a child in an adult's body, it's okay. You just have a very, very glowing personality. Always find your own free time, and also always remember, adulting sucks. So why not just live it the fuck up? Bye, y'all. This is a motherfucking podcast.